Little baby, how you do? You sup up the Belfast brew, the Whitewater Brewing Company. You take a suck and take a sup, and just lie there and enjoy, my little teddy bear, you know. Yes, a lady sits across the way. Joanne Callan is her name. She will speak to us today about the very best of lifestyle way, and we shall enjoy. I love your dicky bow. It's nice. See his dicky bow. Look,
very pretty.
Isn't it good? This is, we don't drink at this time of the morning, but we were doing a story about the Whitewater Brewing Company.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So the teddy bear got to share some.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm well. The reason for the Indian thing is we're celebrating the life of Father Gerard Ferron, who was a great man of India and Newry. We were raised in Barcroft Park. Is now buried, died a year ago, is now buried up at the back of the Dominican. And Jared's the man who collected 2 suitcases full of spectacles that I took out to Africa, and also gave me the means to rescue a boy in India and to build projects in India. And at the worst of the child abuse, he stood in the Dominican pulpit and he said, far better, he said, that the entirety of the Catholic Church be pulled asunder than that one more child be damaged.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was few and far between, I think, the priests that spoke out about it. But
yeah, there was a quietness, and those that did.
And those that did, and I think there's a few that did that are now having Father Tom Flannery, Father
they get
O'Donovan.
Hammered. Yeah,
they're getting quite.
Flannery's a nice man.
Yeah, and Father Iggy O'Donovan's a very nice man as well.
Yeah.
He's an Augustinian
in
Drogheda, but has recently just been sent on sabbatical to Cork.
Wow, I would like to be sent on sabbatical to Cork.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Sorry, Limerick actually.
Limerick, not Limerick. No, Cork I would take.
He's been sent to on an unchosen sabbatical, I think. Really, he was.
Are you by any chance, because you're very knowledgeable about these things, are you by any chance a defrocked nun?
Absolutely not. No, I don't think so. No, I think if I was to join the ranks of the church in any sort of formal capacity, I would probably have the same treatment as Father Tom Flannery and Father.
But I could tell you where you would fit in very, very well. You would fit in very well in Nigeria with the African Sisters of Our Lady of the Apostles. Huge people. African women looking after Africa.
Yeah, looking after
and there's strength for you.
Yeah.
You know, I tell you.
And that's I think funny. I was on a course a few weeks ago and they were talking about the strength of women, that you know, the power that women can have in a gentle, caring role, or not in an aggressive. Some of them can be
aggressive enough now, I tell you.
You would hope that it was in a more gentle, feminine strength.
But there is a huge strength, especially in Africa. I often say if you're going to be reincarnated, don't come back as a northern Nigerian woman or a northern Nigerian camel, because both are worked, you know, 30-year-old women are emaciated and in trouble in the deep interior. Now there are very rich people there, but there are people who do not know what a tarred road is. You know,
it's the extremes that are difficult to.
Shall we start our own church and go out and protest about things and tell everybody? I formally resigned from the Catholic Church because. A whole lot of reasons. I've been writing about it and whatever, but I do my own thing. Well, Search is what it's about.
And I think, as we've talked about before, I don't think it's that people have given up on religion or spirituality.
No, they haven't given up. No,
they've given up on, or they're looking for something more than what maybe the church can provide. So.
Like for goodness sake, I couldn't join a golf club. I'd fight with them. So how am I going to join a religious club?
Yeah, well, that might cause you some problems.
It would. I'm not good at.
Or that you might cause them some problems.
Yeah, well, I walk to my own drumbeat, as I suspect you do, and you have to.
Yeah.
Because that's. How is your head this morning?
My head's super.
Inside your head.
Yeah, always good. Yeah, good.
You happy?
Yes, definitely, always. Sure. What I mean when we talk.
Happy, and you know it.
it, yeah.
What about laughter yoga?
Laughter yoga. If you're happy and you know it, yeah.
Laughter yoga, it's a great thing, I tell you. It's good, it's good.
I have Michelle on now.
Is she coming?
Week. She is. She's coming in to talk to me, next week.
Yeah, so, and it'll be laughter yoga.
Laughter yoga, yes.
Yeah. And I'm coming into you in November, am I?
Yes, we'll have you
talking about men's things.
All men's things for November, yes.
You men look after your nuts. There's a thing out there. Yeah, you see the advert. Yeah. Your man Eddie Irvine, that's who's the fellow who does the motor racing, and he's holding nuts in his hand. Man, look after your nuts. Yeah. But it's all sorts of cancers: testicular cancer, prostate cancer, whatever.
Yeah.
And
men's health is definitely one that needs to be looked.
I'm finally focused on it at the moment, because had I not been careful with my health and been wise, I had a little time bomb that was growing halfway between my belly button and my bum inside, and it would have nuked me. But thanks be to God, I got it. Yeah. And I hope it's okay. You know, Declan had it as well. Declan McChesney, he's coming into me later today. And it's good watching all the time. Yeah. Yeah, it's lifestyle, isn't it?
It's lifestyle, and it's taking time out.
What do you say? What sort of things does teddy bear, does white bear? I'm a very sick human being, really, in another way, because I had a teddy bear when I was 12 and I was a boy. Well. And that was not nice. But he was a brown bear. Okay. And he's a tough bear. He was a good bear. Yeah. What have you been doing this week?
I have, our show going out this afternoon is on yoga. So I've been practicing a little bit of yoga this week, and there's a charity event on Sunday. You had David in as well.
Some folk were talking to me yesterday about it as well, and they taught me the yoga chant, which is nice. Shall we do a yoga chant?
We can do
We'll do one now. And we fill our bellies with air. That's the first thing. Are we ready?
Yeah, ready.
Are you ready?
Go for it, yeah.
There's a subtlety in your tone there. There's a raspish crudity in my tone here. We'll go again. I like it. It gives you a good feeling, doesn't it?
Good energy.
You ready?
Yeah.
Have you mastered the art of levitation yet?
Not quite.
No.
Not quite.
Levitation is interesting. Fakirs all over the world can do it, or they allegedly can do it, especially in India, but I don't think they can at all. It's not the thing. So it's been yoga. It's yoga on the program.
Yes. And this evening, I actually have a charity event on this evening myself, a relaxed parents evening.
What's that about?
So, about this week is the Children and Family Trust's National Parents Week. So I come up with the idea of doing an event this evening to just really give parents a wee bit of time, a wee bit of space, and help them to chill out.
Did you hear what you said there? I came up with. That's a huge thing to do.
Well,
that you're an independent. You're there, and somebody the eureka moment came. I will do this for parents.
Yeah. Well, wow. I mean, I do think parents are increasingly under pressure. Society increasingly has us all under pressure, but parents particularly.
You're not under pressure.
No, You're
chill.
Managed to work quite well at chilling out, and it is that it is an effort. You have to give it time and give it in the same way as you give exercise time or you give anything else time. Taking time out is, I think, gone are the days when it was part of life, and now we need to consciously decide to make time for ourselves.
And it's such a good thing to do, because you feel the immediate benefit of it, you know.
And those around you feel it as well. You know, parents often find, I would have quite a lot of parents who I would deal with whenever I relax kids classes and stuff like that. And, you know, you find the parents will do everything, and every last penny goes to the children, and the children are their whole world, which is so right and so correct. But on the other side, if they're not taking time out for themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And
well, you can't love your children if you don't love yourself, first of all.
And you can't be there and provide for them correctly. And, you know, I often remind parents of the idea when you get on a plane, they tell you to look after your own oxygen mask first. And I think that's such an important analogy for the rest of life, that if the parents are more relaxed, they're happier, they're healthier, they're not stressed out, then the children are going to follow suit. So this evening in WellFit Cafe at 8 p.m. So if anybody...
WellFit this evening.
WellFit this evening. So if any parents...
I think Ruth mentioned that. She knows you, my daughter, my youngest daughter.
Yeah, I think Ruth's hoping to come along.
I think she will be there this evening. She speaks magically about you and beautifully about you.
Always nice to hear nice compliments from nice people. So
well, it is actually, because I sometimes shock people because I will just, apropos nothing, say, I think you're a really, really fantastic human being. And they think, first of all, you're joking them. And then you have to tell, no, I'm serious here. And it's important to tell people that. You know.
It's important to be able to accept it, you know, and again, we find as adults that, and particularly I think the Americans are, and it's difficult to generalise, but the Americans are generally better at accepting compliments and feeling good about themselves as a nation. Now, obviously, individuals can have possibly more problems than any of us, but but I think to have a confidence in yourself and to be able to accept that positive compliment when somebody else takes it, rather than most of the time somebody says thank you very much, or you know, that's lovely, you're a lovely individual or whatever, and we go, oh, not at all. Even clothes, people say that's lovely, oh, sure, I only got it such and such a place.
There's the just word comes in. Oh, it's just.
It's just. And
what
that
do you do?
Thing, I have that
I'm just a cleaner. Or what do you do in life? I'm just this, I'm just that, I'm just that.
And yet it's every role, no matter what we're doing in life, is an opportunity to work with people, to talk to people, and to enhance the world.
Lives. Because very, very often the greeting you make, and that moment of greeting, could be the first time that old person has been spoken to in a week, a month. You know, they go around. Sometimes they're smelly and awful and terrible, and it's very, very difficult to do. But I mean, you have to see beyond all of that.
You have to see past all of that.
And it is eminently doable.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it could be any of us as well, is the other side of it. We hope that we have enough respect, maybe not even respect, but we hope that as we get older we have our wits about us enough to not be that person, but not everybody does.
Yes, I know what you mean. I was solidly thinking that myself. I do my best.
You're heading that direction.
I am there.
We didn't want to tell you, Rowan.
I know that, but I mean,
we didn't want to tell you.
As long as you get me back into the home by 12 o'clock, you take me for a wee spin down the street and then get me back. It'll be great.
Dee Rafferty walks in the morning. He's a breath of fresh air, our man over here. He comes through the door and he just swings in and puts the coffee on. Everything okay? How you doing? It's a joie de vivre. It's uplifting. It's a good feeling. It is constantly. I had a communication recently, and I hope she's listening now or watching now, in Toronto. Licia Troughton, a great artist who I met some years ago in Corrymeela, and she was there doing Licia was there doing the linen wall memorial. She now calls it a linen shroud, where women of the world, under her artistic guidance, had linen, we call them linen handkerchiefs. They're not, they're pieces of linen by that. And women all over the world embroidered into each a name of a victim of Northern Ireland's troubles. And Licia had that displayed in Corrymeela, in the Cree, I think it's called, the church in the middle of Corrymeela, which is under the ground but with light streaming in. And I went to do the nationwide program, and there she was. She was standing there, almost surrounded by light, and behind her the whole wall of linen. And I thought, wow. I just walked up to her and we walked into it hand in hand. And it wasn't embarrassing or anything else. It was just the right thing to do. Surrounded by the sacredness of the names of the dead, captured so beautifully and so beautifully illuminated with the natural light of Corrymeela and the natural spirituality of Corrymeela. And that was, so she, through this magic of the web, Licia saw the program in Canada. And she said, loving the program, remembering the thing, blah-de-blah-de-blah. Lovely. Fabulous, so good morning or good evening, good afternoon, Licia. Licia Troughton there, a Northern Ireland woman, but she's now a professor of wonderful things in universities all over the world.
Excellent. That's amazing. I mean, I think anybody that's artistic, it's such an amazing talent and skill.
Yes.
And something that I think often, and funny with it being Parents' Week this week, I've been talking quite a bit about talents and skills in children. And so often children can be told at such a young age, oh, you're no good at art, and their creativity gets so stifled because they believe what's being said to them, that they're no good at art, or they're no good at singing, or they're no good at these things. And yet it's such a personal thing. We all have some form of creativity. We might not be able to paint the Mona Lisa, but we can still be creative in our own ways and in our own manner. And
the painter Callan of Restrever was in here and taught me to paint. And we painted. We did a painting here under his guidance. I applied the paint. I did it myself. And it's the size of the newspaper there, and it hangs on my kitchen wall. No, it's not the greatest painting in the world, but it's my greatest painting in the world.
Yeah, and that's, I think that's the thing is that with skills or talents or abilities, the only thing you need is a personal best. It doesn't have to be as good as what anybody else can do, but if you can do it yourself. And
you're not very old as a person, where did you acquire the wisdom you've got? Where did it come from on your life's journey?
God, who knows? That's probably a question I've never considered. So first of all, I'll accept the compliment that I'm a wise person and that I've got wisdom.
It's evidential. You can see it. It's demonstrable because the things you say.
Yeah. I don't know. I suppose it's one of those things that I often think we all have a certain degree of wisdom. It's just tapping into it and giving our head enough space to maybe allow the wisdom or whatever bits of wisdom are there to come out, rather than being caught up in the
But it's an acquired
busyness.
thing, isn't it? It comes with experience and with dealing with the struggles between the immensities of life.
Well, I opened a coffee shop at 19 and closed it at 21, so that was probably one of life's greatest learning experiences, I would say.
Remind me where the coffee shop was.
On Francis Street.
Yes.
Where the running shop is now.
Yes, yeah.
And so I've always been surrounded by people in between coffee shops and different things like that. And I've always taken a great interest in people and how they interact and what words of wisdom. And you, in coffee shops, when you're there all of the time, you meet such a wide range and such a wide mix of people. And particularly during the day, I would have found, and in obviously every business is different, but as I moved on to work for BBs and that, we would have had quite an older generation of people that would have come in quite regularly, and I suppose chatting with them and gaining some of their wisdom as well, and their understanding of the world is always a good thing to do. And I think, again, for younger children, that's one of the things that maybe they're missing out on now, is that where families are in different parts of the world or different parts of the country even. It used to be that children grew up with second and third generations of family members very close to them, and that a very, a lot of interaction with their other family members. That isn't always the given. Of course, I mean, I think in this area possibly it still is quite strong enough, but it's not the same for everybody.
But there's no longer, I think we talked about it before, but there's no longer the universal practice of sitting down to dinner together. Dinner's often taken on the lap watching Coronation Street or something, something like that. And so the awareness isn't on the food, it isn't on the family, it isn't anywhere. It's between, it's split between food and telly or computer or whatever it is. Absolutely. So remind the people then of what you're going to do on the programme today. Tell them all about it. So this afternoon's programme is on, we chat about yoga and basically some of the benefits and some of the things that people who maybe haven't tried a yoga class might want to look at. But we also talk about a pretty big charity yoga event that's happening in Newry on Sunday afternoon from 2 to 4 in Atlavey House. And I hope I've got all those details right. You have. They're off the top of my head. And I think for that event, anybody's welcome. There'll be 4 teachers. And your few bob, I think it's that you give a tenner or something, and that will go to the PIPS and Women's Aid. And Women's Aid, two fine organisations. And my event this evening is in the WellFit Cafe at 8 p.m. And again, that's a relaxed parents event, so no pressure for anybody to ever have done any form of relaxation before. Just come along, take some time out.
bit of a chill and chat type of an evening.
Yeah.
Where hopefully I'll be giving parents some tips that they can use at home with their children and that as well. And again, the charity that proceeds are going to is Women's Aid as well, and I hope to...
Good people. I'm surrounded by a tsunami of kindness.
Yeah. I'm hoping to purchase, with whatever's raised this evening, some Relax Kids books and meditation CDs and that for some of the children in the Women's Aid Resource Centre. So
I love that.
I'm hoping that they'll benefit from some of the proceeds from this evening.
That's Joanne Callan for you.
Yes, that's me this morning.
Try the alternative.
Try the alternative.
I liked your alternative.
Yes. Thank you.
It is beautiful.
Yes.
It is beautiful.
Thank you.
I think we have some music for you now, and I'm not sure what kind of music we'll play, but Dee will have sourced the right music.
He'll have got the right piece for us. Yeah.
He always does. There's Marty looking like a